Hey, everybody. It's Steve Tarter. Another edition of Tartar Sauce, the podcast we do here at the Peoria Journal-Star in Peoria, Illinois. And with me today, happy to have Jim Cote from president of the Central Illinois Angel Group.
Right.
You took me in.
Right.
Otherwise known as CIA. But there's another CIA, right? We'll
have to explain it all the time. Huh?
Yeah. If I'm with the CIA, that gets you either in or out.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But Jim, you've had a great business career in the area. You know a lot of the players. Explain, if you would, because I'm sure we're always talking to people that, what are the Angels? The Central Illinois Angels. What is that?
Well, the Central Illinois Angels is a group of 35, I would say, experienced businessmen in Peoria that have.
Any women?
Actually, there are women because of the marital status of some of the members. And,
there we go.
And so they're also certainly involved.
Well, we know who has the power,
Well, it's kind of interesting that most of these guys, and guys is probably a apt description of the people that attend most of the meetings,
sure.
are either doctors, Caterpillar guys, we have lawyers, we have bankers, we have financial planners. We have a wide variety of members, all of which are and have to be accredited investors, which means pretty simply $1 million net worth or a $200,000 annual income. And those numbers haven't changed in 20 years, so the opportunity for people to be part of the group is pretty wide, and certainly we're always looking for more members who are interested in what we do. And what we do is invest in early-stage companies that are looking for that have a business plan, that are looking for funding, and are willing to eloquently explain it in front of our membership and go through the due diligence process that we put them through.
Now, are these local, or they can be from anywhere?
Well, our primary purpose and part of our strategy and mission is to support local companies. So, and part of what we're excited about in Peoria now is a lot of stuff is going on to help encourage more local entrepreneurship and local startups. So
sure.
That's really a key segment of our strategy going forward, is to really focus on local companies. Okay. However, our charter doesn't limit us to local companies. So, and there's also a case of we've invested in local companies in the past that now aren't local.
Yeah.
They've grown beyond us. A couple of examples. IntelliHot, which you may remember from Peoria Next days.
I do.
One of the original companies.
Water heater.
Water heaters. They're now in Galesburg. They
Right.
have a little office at Peoria Next, but I think it's just for old time's sake. But Endotronics, another company out of Peoria Next that did well, moved over to what's now the Cullinan Building over in East Peoria, and then now they've moved to Massachusetts.
Oh, really? Yeah.
They're in medical devices, and they've felt that their ability to attract employees and things like that.
An area that's a bit larger, a little more population.
Yeah. And that's been a very good investment for us. I mean, they just finished a $90 million investment round with venture capital and all that. So our valuations have gone up quite a bit over that one. Brightwater Medical is another one. A local doctor, Bob Smouse, created a surgical tool and process which eliminates a lot of lab time and angio lab time and things like that. Doing very well, but he had to move his company to San Diego because that seems to be where his
that's a natural flow of business. Isn't
natural
it?
flow of business. Yeah.
Now, Jim, what about how do people find out about they hear this podcast or watch it on Facebook, and they think, so-and-so's got a business or wants some funding. Do they call you up, or how do they go about getting before this group?
Well, the official process is we have a website, www.centralillinoisangels.com, which has the whole process right there in front of them. And it's really an application process. And we have an administrator, Kip McCoy, who will take that and work with Stan Lionel, who's over at OSF Ventures, and they'll look at it and kind of give it a first review and see if it makes sense. If it does, then they'll bring it to our screening committee, who will look at it on behalf of the membership and see, is this something the members might be interested in? And then they go in front of our full group, and the full group decides on an individual basis whether they're going to invest or not. We don't invest as a group. So everybody in the group is not an investor in every company,
right? But
you invest individually.
What you want, what you see,
you know, and you can invest 10,000, you can invest 5,000, you can invest 25,000 or 100,000.
People are used to seeing on television those programs, the Shark Tank and things like that. Is that the way it works with the Angels? Do you have a set time? Okay, you've got 30 minutes, you got an hour. How does that work?
Well, we offer them 20 minutes to present it. I've never seen one take less than 20 minutes, and quite often more. And frankly, the longer it takes, it usually indicates the greater interest on the investors.
Because there's questions.
Because there's questions and all of that. So we're okay letting them go, but it's if it's 30 minutes of non-productive material, then we'll kind of yank them off the stage, so to speak. But but
that's it.
Yeah, you're out. You get the hook. But
how often? How many presentations do you get?
We try we usually have 5 or 6 per year. We meet monthly.
But you'd like more.
We would certainly like more. We meet monthly, and our objective of each meeting is pretty threefold. Number one, we usually have 1 or 2 portfolio companies come in and review how they're doing.
Okay.
It's I've got your money now. Here's what I'm doing with it, and here's where I told you I'd be.
Right.
Here's where I am.
Okay.
Okay.
Progress report,
if you will. Then we either have a new company or we have some sort of education thing for the people on just how is the angel industry going and all of that. Because, as we talked about before, angel is investing sort of a space and time of a company's lifespan. When you start a company as an entrepreneur, usually you run through all your friends and family.
Right.
Okay. Once you're out of there, then you might go to a seed fund, which is something we should chat about here a little bit. And then once it's a product that has a little bit of attraction and it is got a market business plan and a revenue model and maybe even a little bit of early revenue, then you get into the angel people. And then we kind of nurture it along until you get into the venture capital guys, and then ultimately.
This is a stepping long way.
We're one of the stones along the stepping stone way of company growth. And what we offer is not only money, but we offer expertise. So, as I mentioned, we have a wide variety of expertise. And one of the attractions of being in an angel group is that you can take part in these companies. Okay, we've had members become the CEO of a company. Okay, we've had them become likely on their board. We always have a liaison that really keeps close with the company to help generate reporting and things like that. We've had guys that have dealt with the banks on behalf of the company. Not only do you invest your money, but you get
the experience and expertise.
And a lot of us are retired or semi-retired, so it gives an opportunity to keep your mind active and going in the community.
And I'm sure, and Jim, you could speak to this. While it's a world of wild technology, it's ever-changing, ongoing. Certain business things are the same as they've always been. I mean, probably.
Absolutely. It's funny. I'm pretty much my career's been sales, marketing, and so often these entrepreneurs are more engineers than they are salespeople, and they've got a great idea, but they have no idea what it takes to market it. Right. So you try to sit down with them and help them market it. Some of them have no idea how to run the financing. So you got to we might have them sit down with one of our CPAs that we got on this on a group, or we might have somebody who's a banker,
or I'm thinking too, and this is just sort of top of the head here, but you can have a great idea, you can have a concept, but you make the wrong turn, and there's no coming back sometimes because you've given up money or lost people or whatever it is. And
it's your first direction may not be the right one either. Okay, so you may have to make a turn, and that's what we try to encourage these people to do. Make your turn early rather than
you always hear that failure, you learn from failure, and okay, well, I did that before and that didn't work.
Well, and Telehot's a great example. You remember they were going to start and make a zillion water heaters for homes.
Right.
Okay. You can't buy one for a home now from them. They make all the big ones for industrial applications and all that. So it's
they learn that.
They learn. The home water heater market was way too competitive, and now
people weren't going to spend that much for that. Yeah,
right, exactly.
And that that's a good point, because the marketing sales aspect, that's something that sometimes you don't know that stuff until you've done it.
Right.
I mean, you can go to class, you can go to Bradley or whatever, but the real world is where you learn it. I think that's what your group represents. You were saying seed along the way. We'll just talk about that.
Well, one of our biggest initiatives locally right now, and it's getting a lot of conversation among a variety of groups, the EDC, like Economic Development Committee, Rand Geddes, the guy that runs the startup side of that.
I just saw him yesterday at Bradley.
Right.
Yep.
The Bradley group, Bill McDowell, Ross Johnson, and those guys are all talking about the need in this community for a seed fund. And a seed fund is basically a smaller sum of money that helps bridge the guy or the entrepreneur from development into some sort of a investable company.
Get him moving. He or she.
Get him moving. Get them moving. And Chuck Weaver's very involved in this too. In fact, I talked to Chuck last night about it, and we're trying. But you still have to. It's not a giveaway. I mean, it's not like, so you have to have some sort of a. I would say a reason to give them the money, and so there's got to be a bit of due diligence involved.
Sure.
And so the CIA is, I think, taking a leadership role and trying to, first of all, source the money to do it, and also to handle the processing and the due diligence of seed funds. It's certainly not. It's a little bit selfish on our part, because then we get a first look at all the companies that may be potential angel investments in the future, and so
that sounds like a positive thing.
Right. It was a very, very positive thing for us, and we're kind of neutral. I mean, from that perspective, so we don't. We're not. Some of the groups are a little bit more politically sensitive and all of that. So we're just trying to help Peoria, based on the fact we all live and work and play here.
and now, are other communities, do they have these seed funds?
Yes, there are. There are other communities, and they all handle them a little bit differently. We're studying about 3 of them right now that we think may make some sense.
Can I ask what those towns are?
Well, they're Peoria size of towns, like Des Moines and Louisville and
often cities
Ohio.
That we compare ourselves to, or hope to attain some of their success.
And some of them treat them purely as grants, so they don't have to ask for any return. Some have an investment percentage with them, so that the people investing in the seed fund may get some return at some point in time.
I see.
So
you're looking at that as how we
would prefer to have some sort of a return possibility.
Sure.
But at least then there's some ownership on the shoulders of the entrepreneur. This is just not a gift.
And I think when you look at it, just from what you said so far, the investment is more than just the money. It's the experience, the help that, if you guys are behind it or some of the members are, and you've got a lawyer, a banker, a marketing person who can advise, that's invaluable.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And frankly, we invest as much in the individual as we do in a company or the product. I mean, if you can have a great product, and if you've got no strong leadership in a company, it's not going to work.
It's not going to last. Yeah. So now, I'm just speaking from the standpoint of the media. We've covered Peoria Next. Oh gosh, it's probably been 20 years when it started, and it kind of ran a course, and it certainly brought attention to technology, and I think more importantly, it was bringing different folks together.
Right.
Caterpillar, the hospitals, AgLab, Bradley, ICC, so on. And that was, and obviously that's worthwhile. But then it's like everything else. People come and people go. We don't hear so much about. I mean, I think I've talked with folks at Bradley, and Bradley's kind of taken over the Peoria Next building, which at one time was more generic. But obviously, it still serves as that incubator. But where are we at now in your mind as you kind of look over the landscape of this central Illinois area? Because I say Peoria, but I'm including Pekin and all the other areas around here.
Well, if you, it's an exciting place to be right now from a business development, technological development area. If you go look at, the ag business and Morton, there's a couple guys over there that are doing a great job. Autonomic stuff is doing great. You look at there's a new company in town. Well, it's a couple years old now, but called Tarter.
Oh, yeah. I've seen your I've wondered, have we done an article on them? I don't know that we have.
Well, that's our latest investment, actually, in the Angel Group. We just made it early this month. And it's interesting.
What do they do?
Well, they are I would simply put it, a database software management company. And they can take a company with a bunch of disparate databases, which most companies have, and they have a way to put these all together so you can make business decisions without having to go back and analyze them and run reports and all that. You can make them on the fly, and you can set these up so that they're continuous. So a guy, a senior manager or any manager, can look at a dashboard on his computer and see how this production line's running, how the supply chain's running, how this group of Caterpillar tractors is running, things like that. So it's a spinoff of CGN.
Okay.
And it is it's got a lot of great things going for it. And the beauty of it is it's got 45 employees now, hidden away. Nobody knows. And
that's right downtown, isn't it?
They're right downtown, right in one of the opportunity zones.
Yep.
They're sitting in an old building. They're rehabbing regularly, just adding another whole floor to the place right there, back on Washington, in between Washington and.
As I said, I've been by it, and I've thought, having done business stories for all these years, hey, we should do that.
They're an exciting story. Guha, Sashandra Guha, who's the CEO, is an exciting guy to talk to. He's a very, very big Peoria promoter.
Right.
And his goal is they may need ranch offices for customer development. His concept is to grow and stay in Peoria.
Yeah.
And so they've got 30 or so developers, some salespeople, and everything else there. Mark Hambeck's the general manager, and Mark is part of the Peoria EDC also. He
okay.
Double hats there. So they're doing really good, and we think that's going to be a real win for Peoria.
What do you think in terms of? I mean, because I wonder sometimes if those of us that we write stories or we talk to folks like yourself and try to kind of keep up with what we think is going on, but we know the medical center that's developed here and grows with every day. And now we have the jump trading area and that OSF involved. Is it moving faster than people think in your mind, or is it a case where we need some because I think we were talking a little bit earlier. One of the things the Central Illinois Angels would like to do is maybe coordinate a little bit all this happenings that are going on everywhere.
There's a lot going on. Okay, I must say that there's a lot
that some of us don't know about.
A lot that people don't know about, and I think that certainly we all wish it would go faster, but I think reality has to set in, and some of this stuff just takes time. A good example is this new innovation hub that was recently announced by Chris Setti and the EDC.
Down by where ICC used to be.
And we've been talking about that on EcoStructure meetings that Randy Blanton's been hosting that kind of coordinate a lot of these different groups for the last 6 months or so since it was announced. And Peoria was pretty much forgotten. And the EDC people went in and made a good application for it, and we've basically been under the auspices of OSF was really the leader of this, and it's going to be a medical, agriculture, and general makerspace for companies to come in and develop their products and develop their applications, and ultimately to graduate from there and become investable companies.
Well, and the other benefit of that is, aside from the company and the work that will be done there, is they help rejuvenate that area.
Oh, absolutely.
Because obviously OSF is coming in catty corner.
Yep.
But that it's we've kind of got a rough 2-block area there that's kind of been on hold for a little bit.
And it's like you say, we're talking here is 2019. Early 2019, you're really not going to see much out of that until 2020, later in 2020. But you got to plant your seeds somewhere,
and that's also OSF is probably won't be moving in until probably after 2020, at least 2 years, I think, is what they said.
But it gets you excited about what's going on, what's happening with the new building being done in Bradley. And Bradley's commitment to entrepreneurship with hiring of Bill McDowell and the things that they're doing. I've spoken to a couple of the classes over there on entrepreneurship, and they got some bright people there that are doing a great job at developing by themselves a whole infrastructure.
I'm going to throw one out to you here, and this is typical. I guess you could say. Blogger type mentality here, just to blurt it out, and in this world everyone's an expert. But we've had this block tied to the hotel down there that had all those stores that are empty and have been empty for I think 4 years or so. And I know the city would like to see it developed. I think everyone would like to see it. I don't know if it's just not the right area. Maybe, as you said, things take time. But I'm thinking we need somebody to get in there, and jumpstart that, because I realize that, nature abhors a vacuum, but that place has been a vacuum now for a little bit longer than we'd like to think. Is that something that can we get an entrepreneur in there to do something with that building? I mean, because I would hope that the developer, whoever has the lease on that, would be open to almost anything, because otherwise it's been sitting empty.
Yeah. I'm not an expert on retail by any stretch of the imagination,
and I'm not either.
But I've my personal opinion is that it's a little bit off the beaten path for
the
retail.
downtown.
But people are building more housing downtown, and the more people you get, the more opportunities you have for retail and traffic like that.
Right.
So it could be. It just may take some more time. I think you'll see more retail down in the the district
warehouse district. Where there's already
a little bit of traffic down there, and people are going to be living down there. Right. There are more people are going to be living down there.
I think that's true, because I think they've always said once we get more people living in the area, then they want a laundry or cleaners or grocery.
One of Central Illinois Angels' original investments was Main Street Commons, which is the building
Oh, yeah.
which was student housing between Peoria Next and the
Right.
main Bradley campus. And we had a similar retail segment there, and it took forever to lease
Yeah,
that up.
and I know it was sad, and that's you always think of that later because, well, it's like we were talking. You learn from the mistakes or whatever. But I know Leaves and Beans was in
Right.
there, and certainly it looked like oh, that's a great spot for it. But then you had Starbucks a block closer to Bradley,
Right.
And the flow of the it's just like we're saying, a block can be a huge thing.
Oh, yeah.
And even though we think, you can walk that. Well, yeah, but they don't. And
Exactly.
so there we go.
Exactly.
What's on folks should know they can go to the website, the Central Illinois Angels, and that's something that you get a lot of traffic on that. Or,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay.
There's really three ways people come in, and four ways really. First, the website. Okay. Second, personal introductions, referrals, or things like that. We also do work with the University of Illinois. They have a fairly active group of engineering students that are always coming up with stuff. One of our I would consider potentially very successful investments is a company that makes coating additives. So you put their product into a gallon of paint, and you apply it to like a bridge or something like that, and it self-heals. So if it gets scratched or whatever, or whether you don't have to repaint it, it just kind of self-heals. So those are kind of investments we get out of U of I. I would say the last source is other angel groups. There's an active angel group in Champaign, St. Louis, Chicago, Quad Cities. So we talk and we share ideas quite a bit, and we attend their meetings on occasion. They attend our meetings, and we find that it allows us to minimize our investment in due diligence. If they've already done it, we can take advantage of their work, and then of course,
reinvent the wheel?
Exactly,
when
they can take
already.
And our membership, even though we've invested $13 million since we started, it's limited in how much people are going to.
That's $13 million in 9 years, or
$13 million.
Yeah, because some folks are probably going to hear this and think, well, I didn't know that we had this group, or they may know that we do, but that's something that can only help, I would think, as we go down, wherever we're going here.
Sure. In fact, we invested $1.7 million last year in a variety of companies, and so it's a viable, active group. We're always looking for others to get involved. It's a great group of guys and ladies, and it's not just the investment returns we're seeking. We think angel investing is actually a very successful way to invest if you diversify enough, because there are failures. There's no question about it. We had one, we've had one or a couple go down already.
Right.
But we've had some winners, but we've had a couple losers. But if you diversify appropriately, you can come out and do very well.
And I think when you talk about winners and losers, I think there's a case where the general public, because I realize the business group probably knows this well, but the general public might say, oh, yeah, we heard about Firefly, or whatever the name you want to use, somebody which was successful, but then suffered a loss. But that's the way of the world, isn't it? I mean,
exactly.
and you read these stories in history. Well, Thomas Edison, of course, had so much great success, but there were others during his time that didn't. You didn't hear about them because they, had problems, or it's just fascinating when you go back and look at how things get developed.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
It's intricate. Well, Jim, I think this is a great start. I want to have you come back because I think this is a case where you can bring us some information about an upcoming seminar or a program, or maybe a company that we should all know about, because otherwise I think most of us go around and just think, oh yeah, well, there's whatever it was that you remember from 5 years ago or something, because
Right.
that was the one thing I think on Peoria Next that I really found intriguing was when it was, this is probably going back 10 or 15 years, they would bring speakers in to the Civic Center. It was kind of a symposium kind of thing. And it was almost one part entertainment,
Right.
one part education.
Right.
But, that's an important thing, too, because, it brings the media and the press and put a spotlight on it, but also it just gives it more, gets it away from folks who think, well, I'm not into that. I don't understand that, which sometimes I might take that attitude.
Well, and actually, there have been a couple recently.
Chuck Weaver's thing at Bradley.
She was held at the
was it not at Bradley?
Cat Center.
Cat Center. Okay.
Bill McDowell hosted one at Bradley. They were both in the same week, ironically.
Okay.
But they both were very exciting, very very uplifting for the community. And I think pointed out a lot of the real positive things that are going on in Peoria.
Very good. Well, we've been talking with Jim Cote, who's president of the Central Illinois Angels, and that's a group of investors and business people that are trying to, just see if we can have more success here in Central Illinois. So thanks, Jim, for coming on, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. Matt Dayhoff, thanks again for getting this out to everybody, and we'll see you next time on Tartar Sauce.